What's up, you guys? Aldy here, and for Villains Week on Thingamavlogs, I thought I'd talk about some news that's making a lot of Disney fans sad, kinda like a villain would. If you didn't already know, the attractions on the Rivers of America in Disneyland will be temporarily closed starting January 2016 to make room for the construction for the new upcoming Star Wars themed land. One of the attractions affected by this is Fantasmic, which makes me sad because it's gonna be on a long hiatus and it's my favorite Disney show of all time. But because it is my favorite Disney show of all time, I thought it would be fun to talk about the villains in Fantasmic because they are pretty awesome. And for this video, I divided the villains in the Disneyland version of Fantasmic into 3 levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3, with the 3rd level being just the spookiest, most dangerous villains in a nighttime spectacular. But before we get to that, let's start with level 1. If you've seen Fantasmic, then you know that there's water screens that images can be projected on, and those are going to be our level 1 villains. They include the pink elephants, Monstro, the magic mirror, Ursula, and Chernobog. Now, just because they're level 1 villains doesn't mean they're not scary, but because they're just water projections, you do feel a sense of security and safety when you're seeing them in the show. And I just wanted to add a quick note, Ursula should actually be in level 3, even though she's just a projection now. But I'm going to go a little bit more in detail when we get to level 3. Now, for our level 2 villains, they are the live action villains in the show, and they are actually there in the flesh, or sort of flesh, for you to see. The first one is Kaa from the Jungle Book, and he appears pretty early on in the show in the Jungle Book scene, and he goes from an animated snake in the movie to a huge snake that is multi-pieced, and I was gonna say that he's actually a tame villain, but as you know, his stare is pretty dangerous, especially in the show. It can blind you temporarily. But just temporarily, it's not too bad, so don't be too scared. Next is Captain Hook from the Peter Pan scene, and of course Captain Hook is up to no good, trying to get rid of Peter Pan, and Mr. Smee, his sidekick, is trying to help out with the cannon, and trying to help out being the key phrase, because Mr. Smee is just trying. And finally, there's also TikTok the Crocodile, also in the Peter Pan scene, and he actually, even though he's like kind of a villain, he's actually a hero in this case because he, scares Captain Hook right off the ship. Alright, so we got through level 1 and level 2 villains. Now it's time for level 3, which are just the baddest of them all. The first level 3 villain is the Evil Queen, who is not so pleased that Mickey is using his imagination, so she transforms into the old hag. Once this transformation occurs, she summons up some of the villains in the Disney universe, including Ursula, who again, I said in level 1, Ursula, that's where she is now, but really, she started off in level 3. If you were a little kid when I was, and you watched Fantasmic in like the 90s, then you know that Ursula had her own barge. She was a huge inflatable float, I guess you could call it, in the show, and she was just waving her tentacles around on the Rivers of America. She'd actually float. She was more than a projection, and I just remember that it was so cool seeing this floating across because it was just amazing. Her mouth would move, and then her eyes would move according to what the projections on the water screens were. And again, Ursula, she is level 3, but now she's in level 1. She's been downgraded, which also, in place of the Ursula barge, they did replace her with Flotsam and Jetsam. They used to float along the Rivers of America as well, and that was a temporary fix because they are gone also. So now it's just Ursula on the water screen. Alright, so next is, of course, probably the baddest villain in general, Maleficent. She appears and she ignites a spark, and then she goes way up into the sky and just becomes a giant. And you know where this leads. Once all the dust is settled, of course, the best villain of Fantasmic is the dragon, the fire-breathing dragon, which ignites the waters in the Rivers of America and just causes so much ruckus. And it's just, even though it's a villainous scene, it's one of the best. The thing about the dragon, though, is the current dragon, there used to be one before it, and actually the first dragon resembled, or if it's not the exact replica, it resembled the one that is currently in the Walt Disney World version of Fantasmic in Hollywood Studios. While this old dragon was scary, it was very simple compared to what it is now. When the current dragon was revealed, you could just tell like the differences were amazing. First of all, the current dragon is a lot taller. The movement that this dragon has is amazing. It's so realistic. It's kind of like what you see in the movie. And the fire breathing of this new dragon, it just whoo! And although the dragon is very cool and pretty to look at, doesn't last very long because Mickey, of course, it's his dream, gets rid of the dragon, and there are no more villains in Fantasmic. And of course, it's the Fantasmic finale, which is amazing, and yay! But yeah, that's my breakdown of the villains in the Disneyland version of Fantasmic. I didn't go into all the other ones because there is a Fantasmic, as I said, at Walt Disney World and Disney Tokyo Sea, which I have not seen in person. I've only seen clips on YouTube, so I felt like I couldn't really talk about them as much as I could of the Disneyland one. But that's okay because we can do more videos later on. Am I right? Alright, well I hope you enjoyed my breakdown of the villains in the Disneyland version of Fantasmic. Again, it's my favorite Disney show of all time, so it was fun getting to share this with you. I mean, honestly, how many of you knew that there was an Ursula float or barge? Did you know that was even a thing? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much again to my friends at Thingamavlogs for letting me be on here. It was fun, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss on any great Disney videos. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, okay, thanks, bye.